All right, so this is a video about, I guess, two terms, and I always find it very, very interesting when people say, "You noodle or do you practice?" And so I try to understand what is noodling and what is practicing. So I think whenever you have a guitar in your hand and you're playing it, you're practicing. Because technically speaking, I this is not Webster's definition of noodling, but I define noodling as you have the guitar in your hand and you're just playing random stuff. Okay, you might think of a chord, but you're just going all over the place. There's no set pattern to what you're playing. You're not really trying to tell a story. You just, hey, I just want to go up and down the neck. I play a little Led Zeppelin, a little Coltrane, a little AC/DC, and you're just all over the place. So there's no orderly fashion. So you didn't sit down and say to yourself, hey, I am going to practice uh, lines over G major 7 or lines over G minor 7 flat at fifth or anything like that. That's practice. When you practice, that means it's thoughtful. In many instances, before you start and pick up your instrument, you decided what you're going to practice. Whether it's going to be scales, whether it's going to be chords, whether it's going to be a tune that you need to learn for a gig, things of that nature. So it's very thoughtful and it's very cranium. So the problem with practice is that sometimes it's devoid of creativity. That means, in a jazz sense, a lot of the things that we do is spontaneous and it's improvisation. So you can't practice what you're gonna be improvising. It becomes muscle memory from that practice, from that purpose. So, in other words, noodling actually helps you as far as like being an improvisational artist from that perspective. So, whenever people tell you that, oh my God, you're noodling, you're not really playing a song. Well, anybody can sit there and tell you that's a Beatles song or that's a Stone song. So you can practice that and it sounds like what it's supposed to sound like. And when you're noodling, I think you're not really noodling, you're actually improvising and you're trying to figuring out a way to make the instrument sound better and to fit into certain contexts. A lot of the things that I do have come out of noodling and I've figured out lines. I'm a cranium person, so I do think of ways and I look at music and I say, oh my God, this is a minor 7 flat or fifth, this is this and that, and I got to play this line over that. So I'm always weary of musicians that write all their lines and they have like a book and everything is really neat and it's orderly. That is not what music is all about. Music is not about like an orderly fashion. Yes, if you are actually very good in math and you're good in science, you're probably going to be very good at music theory. Understanding music theory and how to, construct scales, chords, just really that understanding of it requires a lot of thinking and a lot of, I would say, more right brain thinking than even left brain thinking. But being a good theoretician does not mean that you're going to be a good musician from the creative standpoint. And I think that noodling gets like a bad rep. And when I say noodling, I'm not talking about Ornette Coleman free jazz or things of that nature. I'm just talking about somebody who might be going all over the place. But going all over the place is actually very, very good. And a lot of times when I take a solo, I don't think about just the chord structure and all that stuff. I've practiced that stuff, right? I want to forget it. I just want to hear the thing and then play it. Subconsciously, I think that because I've studied music and I've studied the theoretical construct of the a piece, that helps me. And I'm trying to put it in an orderly fashion. But the bottom line is that if you noodle, it's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. You're probably improving your chances of being very, very creative. You're playing your guitar because by definition, noodling has the word play in it because you have to have an instrument to be noodling. So based upon that, keep noodling and keep playing. Hope this helps.